Hey guys, hopefully you like the change of scenery. I'm at my parents' house doing this job. So, probably got the title already. So what we're doing today is upgrading the dip beam or the headlights to HIDs. This is another sponsored video, so Car Mod Shop were good enough to send these out to me. It's really good chat to those guys. They've been really good. So, a couple of the guys there are Freelanders as well. So, yeah, they were really good enough, really good to send those out to me. To do this. So I'm hoping you guys enjoy this video. Like I said, we're just going to installing these. So, with these, they are H7 on the Freelander. So obviously make sure you're getting the right bulb for your car, because they do quite a variation of kits on the back, anything ranging from H4s all the way up to H7s, H1s, H11s, etc. So yeah, make sure you're getting the right bulb for your car, and then you get the kit like this. So let's break it down. So with these, I've gone for the 55 watt, sort of standard wattage for sort of headlight bulbs. It's H7, and it's the H7R. So one of the main complaints with HIDs is they create a lot of glare and they sort of ruin your beam pattern. With the R on these ones, I think there's like a little black band on the bulb. I'll show you that when we're putting it all in and installing everything. And with that, what that does is it sort of refocuses that beam back down and sort of brings back your beam pattern. A, good for your MOT, and B, good for not blinding other people on the road. With these as well, I've also gone for the 5000 colour. So you can sort of range from sort of 3000 all the way up to sort of 14,000 and then into the purples, etc. for colour wise. I've gone with 5000. It's the most natural sort of daylight. I do a lot of off-roading, etc. So my main thing was practicality more than sort of visuals with HIDs. I needed extra light, I need better beam, etc. So it was going with the 5000s. So yeah, let's go ahead and break down what's in the box. Okay, so this is what you get sent out. So like I said, I've ordered these through, I've got to send these through Car Mod Shop. So this is what you get. It's a nice tidy little box. A lot of information on the back for you. All the different bulb variations on that side. And then you've got things like a representation of the colours there, with the bulbs, or what the Kelvin colour ratio is. And then obviously on there, just tick boxes for what they're sending you out. When you open it up, this is what you're going to see. I've muddled it around a little bit, but that's what you're going to see effectively. First thing on the top was an instruction manual. It's quite a nice sort of laid out, easy to understand sort of instruction manual. It's got instructions for H7 bulbs, 9006, H4s, etc. But yeah, nice little instruction manual in there. Quite useful to have. And this is the kit. So a lot of people get worried when they see a lot of wires and things going around and everything's being added, but it's actually a relatively simple job. And when you start breaking it down, you sort of realise actually it's not that bad. So if I just take out one example, so what you've got here is you've got your 55 watt ballast. So this is what sort of starts or ignites the sort of the HIDs, and you've got two connectors on the end. Well, three I should say technically. So you've got the two connectors there, the one connector there. The two connectors are for the bulb. So this is your bulb in here. Then if you can see it through the plastic casing there. But that's your little Xenon HID bulb. These effectively connect into here, so that you've got one male and one female, so you can't mix those up. And then this one goes into here, and again you've got a little lug on the top, which just goes straight into that one. Again, you want to wait till you're out doing this on the car to connect it all up, but effectively that's all you really need to connect in terms of the ballast to the bulb itself. It's just those two into there, and that one into there. You've also got these two little wires here. One's a red, one's a black, so positive, negative. These will go on to the existing bulb. So where you've got the existing carrier. So where you've got the two wires that come into the carrier that plugs into the back of your bulb, we're going to take those wires off and they're going to come into here. I have seen some kits where you take the bulb off and you use that sort of block and you plug that in to another kit on here. The reason I like this is it's much neater. So if you've got another block here, you've got a block here with the original lights, you've got a block here and you've got a block here. It's just a lot to sort of try and fit in that space. Whereas with these, it's just two nice little neat wires. You just crimp them together, solder them together, however you want to do it. And you've just got two ends then, and you can just put a bit of tape on it. So it's a much smaller, neater finish rather than just using the old connector from the old back of the bulb. So that's effectively all it is. The way it's going to work, I'm just going to quickly undo these. I haven't undone them yet. So that's going to go into here. So this is going to be the bulb. So we're going to unscrew this in a moment, and this is going to go into where the original bulb is. So that doesn't change. That's going to go in exactly the same way as it did before, and you're going to have the same carrier, a little spring sort of lever that goes over the top. And this is going to go into the original wiring. You've then got a grommet. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to drill a hole in the back of the plate, and then that's going to come out to these two, and that's going to go to that one. So it's relatively simple. Once you've drilled that hole, effectively it's just plugging it into ballast and away you go. And once you've put those onto the original. So that's pretty much all of it. I hope I haven't sort of waffled on too long, kept you guys bored. Like I say, when we go through, I'll go through all of it as I fit them as well. Only other thing to note is you come with these nice little spade mounting, I call them the spade or arrowhead fixtures, and some bolts that came in there as well. Effectively, this will bolt onto here, and this can be used to either cable tie or bolt in your ballast anywhere you want it to go. Alternative, if you have them, you could get riv nuts, drill some holes into a panel somewhere, put that up against it, and then just screw these through here and into the riv nuts. So there is options there to sort of modify it a little bit and sort of fix these a little bit more securely. For today, just because it's freezing cold and I don't have much time, I'm just going to be putting these on here and then cable tying to the bodywork. So hope I haven't bored you with all of that. I know it's a bit long-winded, but as we go through it, we're going to I'll sort of talk you through it as we go through it, and we'll go from there. So let's get outside in the cold and get these fitted. Okay, so we're out by the headlight now. I've already got the cap off, and my dad went ahead and drilled the 25mm holes for me, but I'll show you how we do that in a moment. So I appreciate there's not much room in here, but here's your original two. So this is the original bulb, and it just has a little lever arm here. Sorry, I can't get my hand in there. The little lever arm here that just sort of comes over the top of it. So these are the two wires here, your positive and your negative. These are the ones we're going to be taking off and then crimping onto the new wires. And then obviously the bulb just goes straight in through there, and then we're going to be feeding it through the back of the plate. So first part is going to be getting these two wires off, and then we're going to be crimping them onto the new one and getting the new bulb in that housing. So let's get the new bulb in the housing and go from there. Okay, so as you can see, we've got the wires off, and we've just stripped the ends a little bit so they can go into the crimps on the new one. On mine, the brown is the sort of live wire, the black is the negative. So the next step is going to be getting the bulb into here with this lever arm, holding it in place, and then once that's holding it in place, we can go ahead and start connecting everything up. So let's go and put the bulb in. So as you can see, the bulb is now in there, and the arm is across, and it just hooks into a little bar in here. So that's the bulb in there. And as you can see, these two wires are going to be inside the grommet bit. So we're going to connect these up to here now, and we're going to crimp them all together, possibly put a sleeve on it, and then the housing is going to go on there. We're going to feed the cable through, and that's going to go on the back. So let's get it all connected back up together again. Right, so this is how we've wired them up. So that's the bulb in there. Got these nice little sleeves. We ended up taking off the end that was on those bulbs. I didn't have a connector that I could attach to this end to put into the HID kit. So what I ended up doing was cutting it and using a little sleeve and just crimping it either side. It's a nice, neat sort of finish on there. And on my Land Rover, the brown was the negative, going to the negative, and then the grey was that one. So we're going to get some electrical tape on there, but let's see if they work. Okay, so we've just fed it on through and pushed the grommet onto here, and the wires are in behind here. So we've got the two connectors here and the connector here. So a good thing to do before we before we start putting all this back together again and cutting up the other end, is just to make sure that everything works. So the two ends on the ballast here, they're the ones that come into this one. So you got male to female, female to male. So there we go. So that's that one over there, and then this one into here. So like that, and then this one's going to come across, and we're going to go the little lip on the top bit there, goes onto that one, and that's that one all connected up. So that's effectively everything done on this one. So let's just test to see if it works. Yep. Okay, so sorry for having my hood up, it's freezing. So they work. Look at that camera. What crappy lighting. So they work. Hopefully you could see it on that. The biggest difference you're going to find with these HIDs is how white they are. I'm not sure if the camera picked up. I haven't been able to check out the footage properly yet. But in this one, this is the stock one that you saw in that video just then. That is a Philips Racing Vision GT200 bulb. They're not cheap bulbs, and they look plain yellow compared to the HIDs. They looked almost as yellow as my paintwork in comparison. So massive difference there. So I'm really excited. Let's get the next one in and go for a road test. Okay, so this is the bulb I was saying about earlier on. So I'd show you on this second one. So the top bit screws off, bottom bit feeds down on through the rest of this, which comes off. But this is the little band I was talking about on the earlier video, just showing that that's basically what stops any of the glare. So that's what you get with the H7R bulb that these guys do. Effectively, it just keeps that pattern with the lighting, so you can go through an MOT, you don't blind other drivers, etc., etc. So yeah, that's what you're looking for with the H7R bulb. Okay, so that's both sides back on. I say the ballast on this one I've just tucked in on this one here with a couple of zip ties for now. On the other side, similar job, just zip tied it up to there for now. I put a cables running behind onto the bulb itself. So they're all both fully in now, so now it's just time to go and do a nice little road test. Okay, so just going to do a quick side-by-side comparison as the first test. Hopefully you can see me on the camera. So what I've got here is I've actually got my wife's car parked next to me. She's up next to me. She's got 2016 Hyundai, and she is running, well, there's projector headlights on those, and she's running Philips Racing Vision GT200 bulbs. And they're relatively new as well, so they're not near the end of their life, etc. So they are going to be as bright as they're going to be. So that's her lights you can see on the camera looking out the front. That's just regular dip beam. I say I only did dip beam, so I'm going to turn mine on now. We're going to do a quick comparison side by side. So one thing I did notice with these almost immediately is how quick they warmed up in comparison to HIDs in the past. So every time I've had HIDs before, they've taken forever and a day to warm up. These almost immediately are pretty warm and pretty bright. So hopefully you can see on the camera at the front, it looks a tiny bit blue on the camera from what I can tell. I can only get the tiny little screen up here. But hopefully you can see on that camera a little bit of difference. So mine are a little bit, well, quite a bit whiter from what you can tell, and the range is a little bit further as well. I've angled my lights a little bit down so they're not going to go miles off into the distance and blind people. But when you look at that side by side, I mean, don't get me wrong, the bulbs on my wife's car are very bright, they are very good. They are 40 odd quid bulbs, whatever they were. But what I'm noticing is these are a lot whiter. It's a lot more crisp, it's a lot more clear, so when I'm looking forward, it is a lot clearer what I can see. You know, there's a lot more definition in the brush and etc. from what I can see. So I don't, hopefully the camera's picking up on that a little bit as well, and anything on that camera showing up a little bit brighter on this side. So yeah, really nice. I like that colour. So the next thing is going to be taking both cars out onto a lane out in the country and sort of driving along where it's going to be a little bit darker than it is here. There's no street lights, etc. And just doing a quick test there as well. So let's get on with that one. Okay, so I'm out on the lanes. Hopefully again you can see me on the camera. I'm not used to the sort of lighting in here, but hopefully you can see out the front with her dash cam. She's running exactly the same dash cam as I do, so the picture will be exactly the same. And this is what you get with dip beam on her headlights at the moment. They're adjusted to sort of roughly the right height for what you want. When driving with dip beam without blinding other people. Like I said, they are very impressive bulbs, I must admit. I used these before I changed over to the HIDs. And in a car this new as well, they're always going to look a little bit better as well. So I'm getting a nice sort of wide vision with these. It is pretty white for halogens, I'm not going to lie. You know, if I go up to full beam, there you go, it doesn't make a huge amount of difference with this one. But yeah, you're getting a nice defined line there as well, which is what you want. You want that sort of beam pattern from this. And yeah, I am impressed with these headlights. So this just gives a good baseline for the HIDs to compete with, because like I say, these are some of the best bulbs that you can buy as halogens. And you know, in a much newer car with projector headlights, etc., it makes a big difference. So you know, hopefully this is a good baseline to compare those HIDs to. So yeah, that should be all we need from this one. So let's get back in the Land Rover and compare it to the HIDs. Okay, 3, Okay, so we're back out on the same stretch of road. I'm now in the Land Rover. First thing I'm noticing, it's much louder than the Hyundai. But other than that, the lights are very impressive again. So I gotta say, the wife's car is pretty close. You know, it's gonna have advantages. It's newer, projector headlights. You know, there's a lot of things in the, you know, top of the range bulbs. There's a lot of things there that give it quite a good edge with a car this old. But one thing I will say is these are incredibly impressive compared to what I had before. If anyone's ever sort of driven Land Rovers, things like that before, they know that the headlights are as dull as glowworms in a bottle in a jar. So compared to what it was before, this is incredible. And I would probably put this just above the Hyundai because of how clear it is. I'm just going to adjust them. And one thing you're noticing is I'm getting that line still. I'm not missing out on that line. So that's one advantage of that H7R, like I was saying earlier. You're still getting that defined line. You're not getting, you know, a glare everywhere. You are getting that defined line. So yeah, I would say this is very impressive. This is what I got to before. I'm just going to turn around and go back the other way. Just do a little bit longer with these ones. And what I might do is a side by side at the end. Let's check behind. 16-point turn because of my turning circle. So yeah, what I'm noticing with these ones is just, again, it's similar to the spotlights. It's not necessarily overall range. That's not what you're looking for with these. You know, because you'd be blinding people again if you're going too far with this. The range isn't going to be as far as what people will think. You know, they think you're going to put these in and see a million miles. But if you're doing that, you're blinding other people. What it is it's white, which is what those bulbs are really bringing in for this. It's HIDs. You know, everything is crystal clear in front of me. And if I need the extra range, I can just flick on the spotlights like I have done in the past. I don't know if I've adjusted them yet. But, you know, what I found is they've warmed up very quickly. The spotlights are coming in now. So if I need that range, I just turn my spotlights on, and effectively I'm getting that extra range now. And that's what's getting me the range that I need, as opposed to just light in front of me. But you can see how white they are, because even the spotlights are looking a little bit bluey in comparison to these. It's just sort of a testament to how white these are. So let's turn those back off. So yeah, not too worried about the range because that's not what you're after with dip beam, but that white colour across the board is really, really impressive. You know, if I go off-road, that's going to make a huge difference. That was one of the main aims of this, you know, to see across the board and see how effective these are going to be, and they are very, very effective. So I'm very happy with that. It's a well worth update, a well worth modification to do to the car. And the fact that you can use it without having to have projector headlights, etc., is probably one of the biggest benefits. I'm just going to put it in here. But yeah, that is, yeah, very, very impressive. I'm hoping the camera picks up on everything here. But yeah, I would say really, really, really worth it. Huge thank you to Car Mod Shop for sending these out to me. I'll put a link to those guys in below. Well worth it. You know, especially for these older vehicles with those older, you know, lenses at the back of the lights. You know, they were terrible. I had those GT 200 bulbs in, could barely see anything. So yeah, this is a massive, massive change, huge update, and you know, things are just safety. You know, when I'm driving along, there's just that safety element as well, not just off-roading. You know, the fact I can actually see in front of my vehicle now, which is obviously going to be a bit handy. So yeah, really, really thankful to those guys for sending these out. You know, they were great chaps. I've had loads of emails with them. They've loved the project, etc. A few of them have Freelanders and things like that. So yeah, it's been really nice chatting with them. So definitely worthwhile checking them out and getting a set of these for your car, because for me personally, it's a relatively easy job once you sort of figure it out and map it out in your head. And once they're in, the benefits are straight away. You know, there's no warming up to it. The benefits are there immediately. Nice clear white in front of you. Doesn't have to have all the range. That's not what you're after. If you did full beam, maybe. Dip beam, you're not after all of that range. So don't worry about that on the video. It's only showing up a certain amount of distance in front of me. It's not what it's after. You know, it's that crystal nice white, you know, crystal white light. And I know I'm repeating myself a little bit, but yeah, it is a massive improvement. So yeah, probably put a side-by-side comparison on now. But other than that, see you in the next video.